under constant cyber attack. These sophisticated attacks target the backbone of our society. SIP Cyber is a platform offering training and certifications, up-to-date industry information, expert opinions, community engagement, and other valuable resources to train both OT and IT professionals in protecting critical infrastructure. If you're looking to safeguard your organization's critical infrastructure, or advance your professional growth in cybersecurity, look no further than sipcyber.com. Join us today to become SIP Cyber certified and help secure our critical infrastructure. Visit us at sipcyber.com. This webinar is proudly sponsored by OpsWap.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are based in the world. And thank you for joining us today as we mark Cybersecurity Awareness Month. It's crucial to not only discuss the threats we face, but also the talent that defends against them. And today's webinar, Fostering Cybersecurity Excellence, aims to shed the light on the journey into the cybersecurity industry, the growth opportunities within, and how organizations can truly harness the potential of their cybersecurity professionals. And today we have a very special guest to discuss all these amazing things. And today's webinar is equally important for both employer and employees, or even if you are a beginner looking to get into the cybersecurity industry and you want to know how you can go and how you can thrive in the industry. So we are going to discuss all these things. Shane is with us today. Shane has been doing amazing things. And if you haven't, or if you are not following him on LinkedIn and other social channels, I will definitely share a link on this chat. Just go ahead and check his amazing work. He has been educating the community and doing a lot for the community. Let's ask Shane about his background, what he has been doing, and how he's helping the community through his platform. So Shane, over to you. Just let us know about your all the stuff that you have been doing.
Hey man, it's great to be here. Thanks for that introduction. Unique individual. I went from being a mechanic. Now I'm basically a CISO at a financial organization. I'm also a CEO for a company that I started. But what was really unique about my experience is I was able to go from a help desk person, tier 1, to a full-fledged CISO, the state agency, in about 23 months. It's all about training and getting up and going. So I've held CISO roles, I've held CIO roles, worked in various organizations from critical infrastructure to financial to state. And at the same time, I've been able to put together various internship opportunities where we actually took kids straight out of high school, no computer knowledge whatsoever, go through an internship, and after 10, 11 months, they were actually able to land $75,000 to $85,000 jobs straight as a security analyst for some big organizations around here. So it's definitely been fun past couple of years.
I mean, that's amazing. And Shane, I didn't know that you went to you became a CISO and started as a help desk. I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing journey, a very, very exciting even for our audience today, because a lot of people they have queries. So guys, don't forget to drop your question in the chat here, and Shane is here with us, and he's going to help us to understand all the things that how to get in, how to thrive in the industry. So Shane, let's discuss a few things about although we are focusing on the critical infrastructure. At the end of the day, all the industries nowadays, most of the industry, the government sector, they are critical, and we need good people, good talent to protect these organizations. So a few things that I would like to understand from you or to discuss from you is about finding the most or the strategies that you have used in your career as a CISO or CIO to find the most effective or the most talented people in today's market. Although in the industry we see that the skill shortage there, lack of skills there, but it's still when we go in the market, it's very difficult to find the right or top talent. So what sort of strategies do you think that organizations must use or can use to find or hire the top talent in today's market?
So I would be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about, obviously, competitive pay is a driving factor why people come and go to this field. Right now, workplace flexibility. Everybody wants to work from home. Those are definitely some driving factors. So organizations that are still staying on that are having better luck getting some top talent. But then you get put into organizations where you have strict budgets, or you can't go above certain bands or certain salaries, regardless of the skills. You've had to get creative. That was one of the strategies we had to do in state government. Security professionals, we didn't pay a whole lot. So we had to, the way we adapted is we actually targeted people that didn't necessarily have a cyber background, but they had really good experience in other things. Network administrators, system administrators, anybody that worked on servers. They made really, really good security analysts because they actually understood the technologies both at the OS level and the networking level. So we were able to really take them and then train them for like how to do security analyst logs, how to do the reviews, how to do remediation and incident response. So we had to really get creative on that. Then when we get to other organizations where they actually have a budget, it's all about finding the right talent, because nowadays anybody's putting things on their resume saying that they can do that. And then when you get them into an interview, you start grilling them. They didn't really understand that. So really trying to find the talent that actually understands not just networking or operating systems, but really understands the different tools that cybersecurity practitioners use. Those are really the big drivers.
Yeah, I agreed, because even I have seen, people with tons of certifications, like in their resume, I can see certifications and all these fancy words. Let's say they can do the pen testing, they can deal with this tool, that tool, but in reality, they do not know anything. So again, a linked, question. So how do you differentiate between a good candidate and a great one during the recruitment process?
So with me, I look at two different things. Obviously, I'd like for the people that we hire to have some background, at least some kind of exposure. One of the big things I look at, especially for entry roles, I'm not expecting you to have, I guess the common meme that we see online right now is an entry level role requiring 5 years and a CISSP and all this kind of stuff. It's not really an entry role. So what I look at is, do you have anything on there on a home lab? And that's usually one of the things that I ask in my interviews. Talk to me about your home lab. What do you play around with? What do you do? Do you try to break stuff? I see some people in here in the chat asking about ethical hacking and digital forensics. Those are some open source technology tools that you can use at home. Practice with it, put it on your resume and stuff. Those are some of the things that I look at. But I'm also trying to build a really good, diverse team. So I want somebody that is really skilled in something, just one employee. I don't want all of them to be really good at that. I want subject matter experts that have different areas. And so when I walk into an organization and we have gaps, or we have humans or positions that need to be filled, before we even start trying to fill those positions, we're actually taking an assessment of what we currently have from a skill set. And so that's usually how I start to try to hire for them. But then when you get into the interview, it's more of, can I see this employee staying here long term? Does he mesh well with our team? Do they have that energy, that vibe that we want to be around every single day? I think those are some big contributing factors as well.
Definitely. And as you said that it's very important to ask whether an individual has a home lab or not. And because if you do not know how to make it, you will not be able to break it. I mean, the process to build a lab teaches you a lot of things, and it teaches you to deal with different tools. And then of course, when you have lab, you can practice by breaking things. Anyway, so you mentioned the diversity, and so especially during the recruitment process, or let's say how does an organization should approach the diversity in the recruitment strategy, and why the diversity is so important?
Oh, so I love having a diverse team set. Um, so a diverse team can give you, especially like me as a CISO, ample opportunities to do great things. A diverse team usually they come with varied problem solving approaches, but a big thing that we look at, especially in threat intel, is cultural awareness. So cyber attacks they are increasing on a global level, and a diverse team can actually have a better understanding of different cultural and geopolitical contexts. That's critical for cybersecurity. Why are threat actors doing certain things on this region over here? What are the IOCs and attacks they are seeing over? They are targeting that industry, that state. How can we better prepare our organization or our company against that? But really understanding why the attackers are doing that type of stuff. And diverse teams are also really good at handling internal
Yeah.
conflicts, the different opinions. They lead to different discussions. So it really drives home that that diverse team can have better decision making or effective decision making skills.
That's great. Good to know. Yeah, I mean the world is connected now. We need people from all over the world to have a diversity. Connected question. Somebody asked on the chat. I can see that. So it says, "Good day. I would like to ask if it's beneficial for an entry level cybersecurity analyst to have programming skills as well."
Yes, you never go wrong having programming skills. I'll give you two scenarios here. When I worked for the state, my security analysts, none of them had any kind of programming or scripting skills. Those having skills like that allow you to automate really redundant tasks as well as be able to drive innovation because you can come up and create new things that just make everything so much simpler. Fast forward to where I work at now, I've actually got over half of my staff knows some type of programming language or some kind of scripting language.
Yeah.
And I can see night and day difference between my last organization and this organization just on the output of what we're able to do. So much has been automated. A lot of stuff has just been streamlined compared to my last organization. Uh, is it necessary to get into a security entry level security analyst role? I don't think so, but it does set you apart, especially for new organizations that are trying to strive for automation, strive to do a lot with a whole lot of little. Programming goes a long way there.
Definitely. And one more aspect that it basically stands you out in the job market. So if you have a programming skills, let's say if you are applying for a cybersecurity entry level cybersecurity analyst job, however, you have some information, you know networking, you know programming. Of course, you will be given the benefit over the other candidates. And as Shane said, programming is very important. Or even if you know some scripting language such as Python to automate your task, you don't want to do the repetitive repetitive type manually again and again. So use your programming skills to do this. Okay, moving forward, let's discuss the training as Shane used. Okay, before we go, and another question. So it says, what are the essential skills and qualification required to pursue a career in cybersecurity? Very general questions, Shane.
Yes. My typical response to this is if you are the kind of person that will go into an organization and you can find a loophole in policies, or you like to break things, or you like to really understand the way things work, cybersecurity is going to be fantastic for you. Because that's essentially what we do day in and day out. Is we try to think like the hackers. We're trying to break our own systems, doing red team and blue team stuff. We're constantly trying to find loopholes in administrative documents, your policies and procedures. You got to have a knack for wanting to do bad so that you can actually do good for the organization.
Hmm. Okay, so since I can see, Shane, you have asked that what career field is everyone trying to get into. I see most of the people they want to directly jump into the cybersecurity, in your opinion, what's the best to do? Like first, should people go or get some IT like networking or help desk job, or should directly jump into the cybersecurity career?
This is definitely an age-old debate. Some people say it's better to start off IT and understanding, go help desk, networking, and then eventually 5 years later get into cybersecurity. I think at one point in time that probably was the best approach. Uh, at my last job, when we did this internship, like I said, we took kids from high school. They didn't work on computers. They stayed with us 10 or 11 months, did security analyst work. When they left the program, some of them got 75 to 85,000 dollar jobs working at big three consulting firms.
Mm,
Like they're obviously able to do the job. So I think if you go, whether or not you go to school for like a bachelor's or master's, that essentially that's become a checkbox now for HR. You got to have it really to kind of elevate yourself, and especially to get into like management roles or CISO level roles. But there's so much good content out here on the web now, between courses, open source software that you can download, like I said before, to set up a home lab. Like you can learn the skills to at home on your own time on your own computer
yeah.
to get into cybersecurity. There's so much great stuff out there now. So I think it is possible that you can jump straight into cybersecurity, bypass the help desk roles and networking. You just got to have the drive and want to be able to learn things.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. An individual can directly jump into cybersecurity, as you said, by learning either with the help of college degree or these standardized certifications, or simply build your own home lab, use open source tools and practice. Makes sense. However, I personally believe that if you have been working in IT as a, and has been doing other jobs, other roles, then it will definitely help you to excel in your cybersecurity career. So because you know all these things, you know the networking, you know the how the IT department as generally is operating there, how it's working, the standard work procedures and SOPs and all. So definitely, your previous experience can help you. However, you can directly jump into the cybersecurity if you want. So it all depends on your circumstances, your position at the moment. I can see so many questions on the chat. Although I really want to discuss this training part of our presentation. Uh, okay, let's take some more questions and then we will go into that. Okay, somebody asked that can I develop my cybersecurity skills by consulting books and journals? Probably the question is, can I learn or gain cybersecurity skills by reading books? What do you think, Shane, about it?
I think that you can read books, but books, they go out of date really, really quick. I think if you're going to
Yeah.
read anything, finding some really good places online that have content creators or knowledgeable people in the field, stay on top of them and see what they're putting out on a daily basis. One of the biggest, my first question that I usually ask in an interview is, tell me how you stay up to date in cybersecurity, or tell me one of the most recent attacks that just happened at an organization in the last 48 hours. Staying on top of those threat streams or that information that's getting put out on a daily basis, that's really the better things. And I think you gain more value out of that than just simply reading a book.
Yeah. Agreed. Books, cybersecurity is an evolving domain. And not only just cybersecurity, IT as whole is constantly changing. Books, yeah, sometimes there are amazing books, no offense, there are some amazing books out there. You can simply go, you can learn a lot of things by reading books. However, some books, as Shane said, they get outdated because the content, it's much beneficial to follow the author to get some real time details, real time updates. And you can you can follow several channels online, like on YouTube, or several podcasters are out there. You can learn from experts. through the video, etc. Books, of course, you can follow, but just don't depend on any book. Anyway, let's discuss the training and skill development in an organization, setup. So, because let's start by saying that cybersecurity again is an evolving, field, and how, Shane, how do you emphasize the importance of continuous learning and upskilling your team or your organization? Because again, cybersecurity is very ever evolving. Even if you're an expert, you need to keep on learning. So how do you do this in an organization setup?
So that's one of the things, at least with me, I'm able to kind of control a little bit of the security budget. Uh, but when you land your first job or you get a job at an organization that gives you development opportunities, take advantage of it. And if you're a manager or a people manager and your organization doesn't currently have that, that's one of the things that you need to be fighting for. Whether it's $500 a year, $1,000 a year, and if your organization doesn't do it, the one thing the military taught me best is nobody's going to look after my own career more so than me. So if my organization is not going to give me the development opportunities, I have to find a way to save the money and go to the classes that I want. Because like you just said, Efron, cybersecurity evolves literally every week. There is something new. There's a new company.
Every day.
There's a new IOC. There is something on a week by week basis. So like me, for example, I spend my own money and I go to trainings. I pay to go to webinars. I pay to go to conferences and network. I go to vendors to some of their training stuff so I can better understand how their tools work, so that I can help devise a better security architecture for my organization. But it's constantly doing something. If you want to get into cybersecurity, that's the one thing you have to understand, that is never going away. You are continuously learning until you get out of the field.
Yeah. So if your organization is paying for your training, that's good. Otherwise, do on your own, but do not stop learning. That's the, you know, end goal basically. Shane, another connected question, and I think this is being asked by the same person. It says that can upskilling in programming and cybersecurity skills can be done side by side? And aside from Bash scripting, what programming languages would you recommend?
Mhm. So anybody well, I'm gonna back up. Yes, you can upskill in both programming and cybersecurity side by side. So going back to your home lab kind of setup, if you have an open source SIM or some kind of log aggregator, if you're taking logs from your computers and stuff, you can use primarily like Python. You can start automating some of that. You can start generating your own reports based off of that. And that's exactly some of the stuff that you will be doing with those skills in an enterprise environment. Uh, anytime it comes to actual programming languages, you never go wrong learning Python right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even now, financial sector, I know there's some debate, Python will eventually go away. I don't personally see Python going away. It automates too much. From a red team pen testing perspective, a lot of those scripts are built in Python now. A lot of the open source platforms are built in Python. So if you really want to get into that security engineering realm, Python is going to be your best thing, 100%.
Yeah, just to add few things, my personal opinion, guys, just go on GitHub, go to the security section, see all the open source tools. You'll find that most of them, if not all, but most of them, they are written on Python. So just think about it. If you're using a script in your day-to-day activities and you face some problems, some challenges, if you know programming, you can go and fix it. You don't need to wait for the developer to release a fix. In real time, you can fix things. You can amend things if needed. That's why programming is very important. And Bash, of course, to start with. However, in real world, Python is the way to go. So this is the most important. However, if let's say if you want to go and you want to learn some low level programming. It depends. So let's say if you want to become the exploit developer, then of course you need to go old school like C, C++, assembly. It all depends. However, Python is very essential to get in the career or evolve in the career. Shane, with so many education and so many training platforms available out there, how do you navigate and select the best opportunities for skill development in cybersecurity?
Oh, so two different ways. So from an organizational standpoint, we're looking at what videos or what training that we can get for our employees and at what it costs. Some organizations are very cost conscious, and so they're not going to pay a ridiculous amount for stuff. Definitely, if they do, it kind of ties back into that development budget that we talked about for individuals. The other thing would be how recognized are the institutions. You got some people that'll just spin up some stuff and they might put out some good content, but then you've got people that may have been around a long time and they're just constantly trying to get more people to spend money on their videos. So we kind of break down the videos that those platforms are offering. Is it something that's going to be beneficial for my analyst or myself? Is it something I actually want to go in and learn? I only have 24 hours in the day. I've got a couple of kids. They eat up a lot of time. My job eats up a lot of time. I only have a little bit of time that I can actually invest. So I look at any, minute, any hour that I spend in a platform before I recommend it. It's got to have good stuff. So that's really what I'm looking at.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's go and take more questions. So probably when we said that you need to stay current, you need to stay updated. Somebody asked that what specific sources do you use to stay current?
So a lot. So I'm registered for two big things right now. That's Alien Vault OTX. It's a open source threat exchange. I get several emails a day. Hey, this new IOC or this new attack vector or this new threat has been identified. And that's something that if I walk into an organization and they don't have any kind of threat intelligence thing, that's the first thing I'm having them sign up for. It's free. Get in it, put in your email address. You start getting email alerts when something comes out. So it's something that's I've been able to implement everywhere I go for free, and I immediately get ROI for my security analysts. So that's a big one that I use. Let's see. When it comes to a few other things, Twitter and LinkedIn. Obviously, if you stay on social media, even if you just get on for a little bit, you're going to see some really good people that are posting good things. When I say good things, like very informative things, but what do you think bad guys do or researchers do when they find something? They instantly go to social media. They want the cred. So paying attention and subscribing to certain sites in Twitter or LinkedIn, you're able to get near real time. Hey, this has been discovered. And at the same time, a bunch of good content creators are online that are really knowledgeable in this. Irfan, that's kind of how I found you. You were posting some really good stuff when we had this internship up and running, and OpsWatch has some really good stuff, which is why we're here. But you never know what you're going to find on social media. Especially some of the people that you follow.
Social media is amazing. I mean, especially the cybersecurity community on Twitter and LinkedIn. I mean, I must say that they have been, really informative. And so, guys, once you get in, when you start following the right kind of people, you will get more information. You will get more amazing people over there. So it's a chain reaction. Just go there, find and follow. Start by following Shane. I've already shared his LinkedIn. Just go there and start your journey from there. Okay. On this slide, we can see there are tons of information. However, in plain language, let's just discuss that. I mean, so Shane, in plain language, let's say what are the key elements do you believe are essential in building a resilient cybersecurity culture within an organization? In
Oh
plain
man.
language, yeah. I know it. We can have we can even have a separate webinar on this question, but just just in plain language.
So everything that's here on the screen right now are very good parts. I think the biggest thing that makes you have a resilient cybersecurity culture is being out there letting them know that you exist. So usually when people are contacting the security team, it's because they're blocking something, or it's like always the department of no, you won't let me do anything. Going out there showing that you are here to not only secure them, but hey, we are here to really try to allow you to do what you want to do, but do it securely. So it's flipping the mantra. It's not we're a department of no, it's we want you to do exactly what you want to, but do it securely. Organizations that I've gone into in the past, one of the first things I do in my first year there is I try to travel to every single site that we have so that we can make those introductions. And some of the ROI that we've seen on that is people are becoming more security aware. It's like, oh, these are real people. These aren't just people that are back here waiting to say no. It's kind of like the old joke with the help desk. Anytime you got an IT problem, did you try turning it off and on again? If you go to the security team, they're just going to say no. So really getting out there and communicating with everybody. Hey, not the normal, we're going to internally fish you and try to see if you click and make you watch the training. That actually hinders that resilient cybersecurity culture. Um, but getting out there and communicating with them. Try to get involved with all the meetings, especially at the top, all the way down. And even when you're a security analyst, you can still get in on those other teams. You can still get invites to meetings with the business, with other IT teams. You're just there trying to learn the business.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, security culture, I would definitely discuss this in detail. I have several things to talk about it. But before another question, Khushbu said, which type of skills should a person get before go for this field? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that we have already answered. Maybe we might not have directly addressed to this question, but we have already answered that you must have a programming skills. I mean, if you know programming, if you have programming skills, very good. However, computing, networking, these are some essential that you must have or must possess to get into the field. To not only just get into the field, but one more very important which thing that I always say is you must have a eager to learn new things, because in cybersecurity learning is essential. If you want to grow, you must have this habit to learn new skills. Just keep on learning. This is the only thing that will help you to not only get into the industry but to survive industry in the industry. If you will not learn, you will be outdated very soon. Okay, Shane, one question which I would like you to answer. So I I cannot see the name. However, the question is it possible to secure a remote job in cybersecurity?
Yes, there's actually a lot of jobs out there that are fully remote. And I used to personally want a full-time remote job. Uh, I actually think having a full-time remote job now can really hurt your career advancement. I think organizations that offer a hybrid approach give you personally the work flexibility that you need. Whether that's 2 days or 3 days in the office, but that time in the office, that networking, that's really what gets you far. Uh, if you don't do anything else, even with the social media stuff, you got to reliably network. And if you have that full-time remote job, that is one of the downsides is you're not going to network as much or as effectively as you could as an in-office or a hybrid work setting. Most of these jobs, especially as you get up and try to get to like security manager roles, those CISOs, the CIOs, usually those jobs are already filled before they're even posted for the first time. And it's all because somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. So
Internally,
networking
yeah.
is still a big driver.
Makes sense. Although, during the COVID time, most of the jobs all of these things went for remote. Is still there are organizations hiring remote worker. Although we hear all of these things in the news that the organizations are now calling their employees back. However, the remote culture is still there. And as I can see that the people joined this webinar from all over the world, so it's very important, guys. The remote culture is still there. It's not entirely gone away. And you can still find some remote job. For example, if you are sitting somewhere in Europe, you can find a job in US or in Canada, or likewise. So the things are still there. You just need to know the right set of people. You just need to know the how to apply for these jobs and how to get into the organization. So as Shane said, networking. You must know the right people. They will introduce you to the organization. They will help you to get into that. So start networking on LinkedIn. Start connecting with the right sort of people. Okay, so career path and retention is very important. Shane, from the organization's point of view or from the CISO point of view, the job is not just to find the right talent or top talent, is to also retain the top talent. So what sort of strategies do you think, apart from offering great perks and incentives, what organization must do to retain their top talent?
So this is definitely something I get asked a lot because security analysts, you basically control what you want to do now. Like, do you want to stay at this organization or do you want to move? Do you want to jump ship, go here? Like, there's a lot of power in the security field right now to kind of do whatever they want. So one of the ways that I've found success with addressing this is whenever I'm meeting my team for the first time, or I walk into an organization, that first meeting that I have with my staff, where do you want to be in the next 5 years? And it's almost the same answer with every single security analyst. Either they want to move from security analyst and go pen testing, or they want to do eventually become the chief information security officer. Usually those are the top two answers that I hear. So I also have weekly one-on-ones with my staff. And during these one-on-ones, I'm constantly trying to make sure that I deliver them value into helping them get to where I know they want to be.
Mhm.
Hey, I know you want to do pen testing. Here are some great places. Why don't you try to knock this stuff out in Q3? Maybe we'll look at trying to get you this certification, but trying to build a roadmap to get them where they want to go. What that's done for me is I'm now developing and mentoring my staff. And at the same time, I'm coaching and hoping that they will stay here with the organization with me. Now, I'm all about somebody growing and moving on and doing better for themselves. So if they do end up moving on after they get certified, or they stay here a couple of years, they went through everything that I kind of walked them through. At the end of the day, I did my job as a people manager. I helped train, I coached them. They're now
As a
doing better.
leader.
Yes. So, and that's really the thing that we should be doing as managers. We need to, it's not always about, oh, I'll give them, 10% bump, retain them after they turn in their resignation slip with another company's offer letter. Like, if it's to that point, you obviously, as a manager, didn't care. If I get wind that, one of my strong employees are leaving, I'm already having that conversation with my boss. Like, look, do something before they come to me before the resignation. Like, this is somebody that's worth retaining. But leading up to that point, if you're having those one-on-ones and you're putting together a plan for them to continuously grow and move towards that field that they told you that they want to get to, they would have already told you, hey, I'm unhappy. I'm thinking about going to take this other offer. It doesn't come down to that last minute, hey, here's my resignation. See you later. Bye.
Mhm. Okay, that's great, and you have shared some amazing tips for, especially for the managers to, if you are dealing with people, make sure that you are taking care of them. You are constantly do the one-on-one session with individually, not with just team. So of course team, you everybody's doing this. You have a weekly call. However, connect with your people individually. Listen what their concerns are, what they want. Let's say if they want to grow in the career, what they need. So very amazing and great tips. And since you mentioned the the leadership, you mentioned people manager, I have a question regarding the leadership. So let's say, I mean, how does a leader, or how does leadership role or play a role in fostering a culture of cybersecurity resilience? Because again, it comes from top.
Oh, it does. Um, so this is kind of a two-part thing. We'll talk about your C level, like your CISO up here talking to the board and their peers, and then you've got the downward, the CISO managing his team. So at the board level, it's important for the CISO to get in and really understand the organization's business. That's how you start to ingrain security into the overall organizational structure, bake, quote unquote, baking security into the actual organization, all the processes and stuff. But it's trying to deliver that value by allowing the organization to do what they want, but do it securely. Then you have the top down where the CISO is responsible for setting the tone for his directs, who are then doing it for their directs. And I think we're in a mindset now, not just security, but IT in general, where we want to hoard the knowledge. There's not really that mentorship. We want to train. We really want to coach those that are under us. That's one of the things about the military over here that they teach us really well. You're always wanting to train your replacement, because if you can train your replacement, eventually they're going to take your job, which means hopefully if you're still at the same organization, you're going up the rank, you're going up the ladder to the next role. But sometimes you put yourself into a position where you can't be promoted because nobody else can do your job. So there's two different facets there.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. So, okay, somebody has asked, cybersecurity has branches. How do I specialize in them? If I translate the question, probably the question is that there are several domains. Like you can be a cloud to security expert, you can be web application security expert, or let's say you can go to the policy side, GRC, or and for me, I mean, I don't believe that you need to specialize in all of them. You need to just pick your what do you want to do in which career path. So you need to pick your career path, and then you need to focus on one career path. You cannot specialize all of them. So that's my 2 cents. Shane, what do you have in this question?
No, I agree with you. And I think a lot of people try to get into cybersecurity for the wrong reason. You know, full time remote, you make a lot of money. But like you just said, there's a lot of domains. It's a lot to choose from. You can't be a SME in everything or a subject matter expert in everything. So when it comes to picking exactly what you want to do, think about, can you do the same job 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for the rest of your life? Can you do that one task? When you start your entry level roles as a security analyst and you're looking at logs, security analysts that only look at logs usually burn out in 6 months. So, you might want to do pen testing now. And you move to pen testing, but then you get tired of working with clients and organizations. It just becomes a headache, and you get tired of that after 6 months to a year. So I think as long as you go into security with the mindset of you find something that you can imagine doing for a long time, and it's the same thing every single day. Uh, that's kind of the way that I would look at it. Yeah.
And just to second your thought, I have shared on the screen, guys. You can see that I have shared. So this list of the information which we have acquired from Harvard Extension School study shows you the role within the cybersecurity and with the demand or the salaries. So there you can see that the risk management, compliance, followed by the incident response. So they tend to earn more. However, this is very generalized information. It depends on various factors, such as your education level, your skills level, the organization you are working for, or the organization you want to work in. So it depends on many factors. However, this is the generalized. So it now depends on you. What do you see in a particular domain? Or let's say if you want to become a cloud computing or cloud security expert, so why do you want to become this? Just for the incentive, or this is something that you love doing? So for me, I believe that you should chase your dream, go for what you love doing, and money will always follow. So that's my suggestions. However, again, it depends on your particular scenario. Shane, anything you would like to add? Anything?
I think you kind of summed it up there. I think, especially if you're going through, school, you getting your bachelor's degree, you're getting that blanket cybersecurity bachelor's, you're being exposed to a lot. The minute that you get introduced to a topic or a field that really jumps out at you and it's like, oh, that's interesting, that's probably what you're going to find interesting for a while. You might be going through this course and it'd be, oh, digital forensics. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds cool. But then you always wanted to be a pen tester. I got to bet, if I was a betting man, I would probably say that you would end up in a digital forensics role, and you would probably retain that role longer than a pen testing role. So it's really all about what do you want to do and what skills are you kind of bringing to the table there. Incident response, a lot of people don't really like doing the response part of it. Threat intelligence is hit or miss. Some people don't want to sit there and look at logs or threat reports and correlate stuff. So it really comes down to what you want to do and be happy with.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so connected question: is there a breakdown of cybersecurity area of one wants to focus or specialize on? For example, pen test, infosec, etc. Yeah, there are several domains as we discussed, or as if you can even see on the screen. So there are several domains. You can be the pen tester. But nowadays, you can be on the offensive side, red teaming and blue teaming. You can be you can be on the policy side. You can work with the risk management, governance side. There are a lot of things to do, like threat intelligence, OSINT. So yeah, definitely there are many domains, and you need to pick the right domain for yourself. Okay, moving on, let's discuss the mentorship. And let me ask you this way, Shane. So you and I mean, we both have been doing some jobs, and then we grew. So how has mentorship played a role in your own professional journey in cybersecurity?
So even though I've hit the kind of pinnacle mark in security, I've been the CISO, I've been a CIO. I still have mentors that I still meet with on a weekly basis, and they're in multiple different domains. I've got a mentor that's they do IT and cybersecurity. Just I can bounce ideas off of, but I'm also striving to be more business oriented. So I've actually got a chief operating officer that is a mentor. I've got a CFO that is a mentor. I've also got an HR person that is a mentor. And these are people that are subject matter experts in their area. And it's because I've got to understand more and more, not just about my cyber or my IT stuff, but how I can bring value to the overall organization. And so I can see the value that I'm able to get out of it. I've had some big wins in my career, going from help desk to CISO in 23 months or something like that. It's all about getting out there and building those connections. We've already stated that, the networking part, but being able to find not just a reliable person as a mentor, but organizations that continuously provide value. You can keep coming back to them for the great stuff that they're putting out. Uh, that can even be understated how important both of those are.
Definitely. Okay, so since we advised already to our audience to go network with people and find your mentor, how one should identify the right mentor or even mentee, and
Mhm.
what qualities should one look for?
So we can do this from two different sides. So me as a mentee and I'm looking for a mentor, one of the
Uh-huh.
first things that when you find somebody, like if I was going up to Irfan, hey, I'd like for you to be a mentor. However, these are the top three things that I'm hoping to get out of it. Like me as the person looking for a mentor, what am I realistically expecting to get out of this? Am I wanting to get better in a certain topic or a domain? Do I want to learn a new skill? Am I hoping to make a new network connection that's eventually going to get me a job down the road? I need to effectively communicate that to the person I'm hoping to be a mentor so that they can mentor me to hit that end game state. Now, if you flip the script and I'm the mentor, if the
Mm-hmm.
person that's coming up to me asking, Shane, will you mentor me? That's the first thing that I do. What are you realistically hoping to get out of this? Like, how can I help you? Like, I can't mentor you if you don't exactly know what you want to do. And even the generic stuff like I want to get my first job in cybersecurity. I want to be a security analyst. It's really, really vague. What do you really want to do? Keep driving those questions. And so if you're a mentor, you should be asking those questions. If you're looking for a mentor, you really should be asking those questions.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So Wu Bao said that a question: what resources and support should organizations provide to mentors to ensure effective mentorship program and positive mentor-mentee relationships? Great question, by the way. So, organization in the organization in the organizational, setup. Let's say it's very important. I mean, for me, organizations should promote this culture. Seniors, they should, become mentor to the juniors. So, what sort of resources and support organizations should provide?
So I can see this, excuse me, being a double-edged sword. So a lot of organizations do this, but under a different name. Performance evaluations. That's what most organizations are using now. Is that quote unquote mentor and mentorship, essentially manager people. And so I think when organizations get involved to try to enforce that mentor mentee role, that's what it's starting to perceived as. It's more manager people. Um,
Mhm.
if they're doing bad, let's get rid of them. If they're doing good, let's retain them. That type of discussion. Um, from what I've seen from effective HR teams, they are delivering workflows or processes and tools to help people managers. Like, this is what you should be doing. And HR is actually training the people managers and showing them how to do that. Because if you think about somebody that over here, they might have been in an organization for 5 years, they got promoted and they're now a people manager. They've been there at the organization for the last 5 years. They've never
Mhm.
led people at that organization. They may have led people never. What kind of training do they have to be a people manager? And so I think if HR takes the simplest steps of saying, this is how we want you to coach and lead your team, like these are some effective strategies, what works best for you? I think that's the best thing that they could do.
Okay, okay, that's great. Another link question: how we can get mentorship. So let's say since we advise people to go online on Twitter, LinkedIn, and let's say I mean, you and I, we both understand that sometimes we overwhelmed with the requests we get, like on the LinkedIn messages, etc. So let's say if somebody is interested in getting or becoming a mentee and approach you for or someone else, so how they can, how a newcomer can get good mentorship? What's the strategy a newcomer should use to get in front in the eyes in front of the eyes of the great mentor?
So from my experience, because I do mentorships as well, I have people hit me up on LinkedIn all the time. It's like, hey, help me get into cybersecurity, or hey, I'd love 5 hours a week with you. I can tell you now, I don't have 5 hours a week, not for one person, but it's as simple as reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn. I'll give you a secret. The guy that's the COO, that's my mentor, that all started with a LinkedIn message. Hey, I think it was something along the lines of, I really enjoyed that article that you put out the other day, specifically these two topics that were in there. That led to further conversations, and then finally me having the courage to say, hey, like I kind of respect you and the stuff that you're putting out. Is there any chance we could work something out for me to be a mentee of you? And I see the same stuff. So if you've got content creators or you see people posting great stuff on LinkedIn or other social media sites, don't be afraid to reach out to them. And most of the time, the content creators, at least the ones that I'm seeing on LinkedIn, they already have websites up where they're offering mentorships if they have slots open. But you never know if you don't ask.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, go ahead and ask, don't be shy. Just be open, ask, but ask the right questions, As Shane said that if you want to learn something, just go and first of all you need to ask yourself that what do you want to learn? What's your goal? And then you need to go ahead and ask the right question to the right person. You will definitely get some information. So we have Andy's saying, may I know how mentorship can contribute to knowledge transfer and the preservation of industry expertise, especially in rapidly evolving fields like cybersecurity?
Oh, so I got a use case now with one of my employees. In our one-on-ones, this guy is phenomenal. It doesn't matter what security stack I throw at him, what security
Yeah.
tool, the guy learns it in a week or two. He's also one of the ones I think that knows like 7 different programming languages. The guy's phenomenal. I can't really teach him anything else about that organization. Now, in our one-on-ones, the way that that is developed, I am mentoring him more to start learning the business side. This guy wants to aspire to eventually become a CISO, but he doesn't have that business mindset. So he's one of my employees that during our one-on-ones, it's not really a technical discussion. It's more about understanding how and why HR does this or why this business line is doing this. And then going back to that leadership role, knowing that he's wanting to be a CISO, putting him in those meetings as my delegate. So he's now getting FaceTime with the business. He's starting to learn how to grow. But that mentorship, as long as you're communicating what you want, your mentor should be able to help get you going down that path.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Okay, so I have several, questions lined up. However, we are also running out of time. So quickly, although this section is about the hands-on experience, working with your lab, which I believe that we have already covered a lot. Like you must have your home-based lab. You must exercise there. You must keep on practicing. Build your lab, both offensive and defensive. Use your Seam and other tools available for free. You can just go online, use open source tools, both offensive and defensive. Get yourself familiarized with all the terms and technologies. It's not about just the certifications, it's also about your skill set. So go ahead and practice, keep on doing this. This is the only thing that will help you to survive in the industry. Believe me, jobs are there, but it's a competitive industry now. Okay, so just to summarize from my side, Shane, is that to foster a resilient cybersecurity culture is all about you know training people, mentoring people, uh, you know leading your people to so that to create the security culture. If we do not have a security culture, there will not be the entire system will not be the cybersecurity resilient. One question that I have for you, Shane, before we wrap it up, is how organization or how being a CISO you train other departments. I mean, not just IT. I know the IT is their job, cybersecurity department is their job, but what about the other department? Like somebody's working in marketing, supply chain, accounts, etc.
So this goes back to what I talked about, getting out and getting into the business, making those introductions, attending meetings and stuff. You're always finding new opportunities, and they usually come up naturally. Something as simple as, "Hey, like, what are you guys trying to get done this next week?" Oh, that's funny. We just saw something like that happen with Detroit last week. They were hacked because A, B, C, D, Y, and it leads to those natural conversations of you're wanting to do something, and I'm informing you of how it can be a security incident or related to cybersecurity. Uh, Having discussions and really getting involved with the business and understanding the business, great way for that natural conversation to kind of come out. At least that's been the best approach for me over the last couple of years.
Okay, and that's great. So, guys, although we try to take all the questions, but I believe and I strongly believe that there are still some questions unanswered, which after this call I will try to answer as many as I can. Uh, okay, Shane, any final or closing notes from your side?
No, the biggest thing that I'll put out is if you want to get into cybersecurity, don't let nothing hold you back. Anybody can get into it and continuously stay uh, with the mindset of you're always going to be learning and trying to train something. You want to learn something. So stay up to date, stay knowledgeable of what's going on in the real world, and always seek continuous improvement.
That's great. So, Shane, thank you for joining us today, and it was really insightful discussion. And hope, guys, you have enjoyed this. Don't forget to share the resources online. Don't forget to follow Shane online, and let's connect. Man, it's just a community. So go online and connect with the right people to get in. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for joining. And from my side, I'm signing off. Take care. Bye bye.